Welcome into another bonus episode here in Hockey Inside Out as we dive into who is the best goalie on the Montreal Canadiens roster. Is it Jake Allen, Samuel Montembeault? Some quick numbers to look at here for these two goalies. For Jake Allen, 16 games he's given up 3+ goals. In the month of December, 4 times he's given up 4 or more goals. For Montembeault, 4 times he's given up 3+ goals. It's almost neck and neck here who's given up more goals in a game here. So I ask you three, who has been the best goalie so far for the Montreal Canadiens?
For me, it's Sam Montembeault. He's just been a little bit better overall, but it's so tough to compare them because I think this is something that gets lost a lot in discussing goaltenders. It's so much more difficult to go out there and play the majority of games than doing spot duty, right? There's like a mental aspect to being a backup that's definitely difficult because you don't know necessarily ahead of time when you're going to play. It's kind of, you're just thrown in there, thrown to the wolves per se. But overall, like the impact on your body being ready every single night to be a starting goaltender is just a lot more difficult. So both goaltenders actually, despite the fact that Jake Allen's save percentage looks terrible, both goaltenders have saved goals at a higher rate than they've ever been expected to based on the shots that they've taken or shots that have been put on them. That's really impressive, but Montembeault has saved at about twice the rate, higher than expectations than Allen has. So I just think they need to balance the schedule a little bit more in favor of Montembeault the rest of the way, not just because he's been better, but also just to keep Jake Allen healthy.
Yeah, I would like to see them go to 50-50. I think Montembeault's getting about a third of the starts now. I think he's definitely earned a higher work rate than that, and see what you get. And also, just long term, I mean, he would fit more in your long term plans than Allen. So I would like to see more of him for that and see how he responds if he's playing roughly every other game. But he's been terrific. Arizona, they don't get a point out of that game if he isn't absolutely top drawer, I thought it was one of their worst games of the season as a team, and they end up winning it. It helps that it was Arizona, but Montembeault was really good.
I think they're fortunate to have two guys that obviously can do the job, and Montembeault playing half as many games has shown very well that he's able to get the job done. If you want to do statistics on a little better goals against average, he's right there. But I just look at Jake Allen also as a guy that a number of times he's stolen a lot of the games for the Canadiens by just basically standing on his head and making incredible saves at a timely part of the game that allowed the Canadiens to come back and find ways to win. But the bottom line out of this situation is they got two guys that can get the job done. I think as the season moves forward and the grind and the fatigue factor comes in, you're going to have to be careful with Jake Allen as far as injuries go and make sure that he's healthy and rested. And it doesn't really hurt your team because Montembeault has been able to step in there and shown that he's able to do the job. So a good situation to be in. Now they're just going to have to fine tune as the grind continues to see which guy plays when, and just keep them healthy. It's going to be a huge part of the success of the Montreal Canadiens.
So for Montembeault, the projection is that he would finish 15-8-5. Now, looking at this perspective, if you get this production from Samuel Montembeault, does this hurt looking at the Laval system with Caden Primo on him ever cracking this lineup this season?
I mean, Caden Primo has a lot to prove before getting another stretch in the NHL, unless there's an injury. He had a great postseason last year in Laval. Ironically, I think he played the best hockey of his career and the worst hockey of his career in 21-22. This season, he hasn't been great. He hasn't been completely awful either, but he is a guy who's at the very most a big project for the Montreal Canadiens. I don't think he's done enough at this point to make himself a factor in the future of the Montreal Canadiens, considering they have some other goaltending prospects on the way up who are playing very well in the NCAA and over in Europe. But yeah, Montembeault, I think, has superseded Caden Primo in terms of like the hierarchy of future Canadiens goaltenders, and it's not even really that close.
Yeah, I am really disappointed for Primo. I feel bad for him, but there's nothing he's shown when he's been in the NHL that made it look like he belonged here. I was hopeful for him after last spring, but if he had carried that on into this season, but he hasn't even been able to do it that level. So they always say you have to dominate there in order to play well in the NHL, and he's not close to doing it right now.
Yeah, I agree with guys. Primo's not getting the job done. I mean, like you said, he had a good run in the playoffs, but my concern is for him to consistently come in at the NHL level. I'm not sure whether or not he's ready for that yet. And, it's a tough position, and you're as good as your last save. And Montembeault, if you want to do some comparison, has handled himself very well and matured very well to the point where we used to, when he first came out, we used to, shake our head and go, oh no, here we go again. And he was the same way, but he's rallied. He's found a way to improve in a lot of areas, and he's deserving of success that he's had to date.
Only thing I would add is I wish they had kept Charlie Lindgren in the wisdom of hindsight.
I'll say this to wrap it up here. The best backup goalie that I ever seen in the Montreal Canadiens uniform, Andre Red Light Rasco. 17-5-1 during the Cup run of 92-93. No one will ever top that as a backup goalie for the Montreal Canadiens.
And the poor guy, and it was Farber who Farber was always very careful about saying anything detrimental about a player, but he hung him with that red light nickname, and once you get that,
Well, we'll find out what the Canadiens will do with their goaltending situation, who might be the best, second, third best on this roster moving forward. That will do it for this bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube page and sign up to the newsletter on MontrealGazette.com/newsletters. For full episodes and bonus content, head on by Hockey Inside Out and submit your questions and comments. We look forward to conversing about that on a future bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. And that'll do for us for the rest of the year. We'll be back on January 12th with more new content here on Hockey Inside Out. On behalf of Andrew, Rick, and Jack, wish you happy holidays and a new year. We'll speak to you in 2023. Bye for now.